Hello everyone, as usual it's me Pavlo and it's time for your daily dose of Ukrainian accent. As usual we'll be discussing interesting audio gear and today it's Tanchjim's newest earphones named Force. It's built with dynamic drivers, but this time they decided to utilize two dynamic drivers per ear to get the sound they wanted to achieve. This model is priced at $280, but it's not a substitute for their previous flagship Origin. I'd probably say that it's co-flagship because this time they offer pretty different sound signature, and I think that Origin will be still available. It costs a bit less now, but we can consider these earphones being of the same segment. As usual, from Tanchjim, I can expect interesting design, some interesting sound tuning, good packaging, accessory set, presentation, and other stuff. So let's check out my expectations. Box is pretty traditional for modern earphones. It has average size. Here you can see that they're mentioning cooperation with Effect Audio, two drivers configuration described here. And on the back side we have more details, including types of drivers. So 8.2mm driver is PET diaphragm plated with beryllium, and 10mm is plated with titanium. So really interesting and sophisticated approach. Inside we have traditional Tanchjim box with this pattern, and we open the lid, some papers, manuals, and then we getting traditional unboxing experience. Earpieces themselves are here, and here is case, and you can see that you'll get two different set of tips, each consisting of 3 pairs, and both are made of white silicone. Slightly different bores diameter here, meaning that they will provide also slightly different signature. Inside here we have a pretty nice case. It's pretty big, but for storage and protection it will be okay. And modular cable with different connections. You'll get regular 3.5mm, you'll get balanced Pentagon, and USB Type-C if you want a built-in DAC instantly. In terms of design, Tanchjim decided to go into slightly unusual way for other companies, but they utilized this approach a few times before in their different models. We've seen this in many affordable models, but in the mid segment it's not that oftenly met. It's a combination of metal faceplate and clear plastic shell. I think they did it on purpose to expose that interesting, unusual internal structure. But let's first of all take a look at the faceplate. It looks pretty interesting, not too bright or shouty in terms of design, but at the same time a great level of work with material. You can see this grill and vent holes underneath this grill, so they are pretty opened back to provide drivers maximum freedom. But at the same time, they incorporated model's name and Effect Audio in pretty interesting way. And you can see that here we have Tanchjim Force, but Effect Audio mentioned 2 times. And they are not big actually, especially taking into account that they accommodate 2 pretty large dynamic drivers, so they provide really good ergonomics. This inner part is really well rounded. They fitting nicely into ears, at least into mine. And despite of being absolutely open back, they providing about average sound isolation, maybe a bit less, but not totally open. So, and I'm not sure will camera show it or not, but it's pretty interesting in terms of structure. So smaller driver is located directly behind the spout, so it will plays directly into the spout, and the bigger driver, I think it's responsible for the bass. It has two tubes. One goes into spout, and the second tube goes somewhere. I'm not sure. Somewhere behind, probably to provide more open structure or something like that. So kind of interesting. Cable is made replaceable. Here used 2-pin connector, absolutely classical, no recessed sockets or some other things like that, and that's a pretty good to have. And of course, as it's a cooperation with Effect Audio, we getting nice tightly fitting connectors and a great looking cable. There are ear hooks without memory wire. Probably I'm the only person who misses that memory wire era. It's average in terms of softness. Actually, it's not super soft, but at the same time, it's pretty comfortable in everyday usage. Almost no microphonic effect. And this nice bright looking design in the silicone tube like insulation. It's twisted in spirals, goes to this splitter with chin slider, and beneath the splitter goes to this connector for replaceable jacks. You just see that there is a small arrow, and you holding it on top and snap it in place, and you getting an ability to replace connectors the way you like. And then just need to pull it stronger to disconnect, but I will do this off camera. So in general, I think they looks pretty good in terms of design, and the ability to take a look inside makes everything more exciting. As well as other models with USB Type-C adapter, this model can be customized with Tanchjim Companion app. I downloaded it from APK Pure. It was not available in the Google Play, but download and installation was effortless. So you can see the model here, and basically the main thing this application can do is just to tweak the equalizer. You have some official presets, a few of them, also different equalizers for different games. It's kind of interesting to see what games considered worthy of getting their presets. EQ Forum, it's kind of online storage with different equalizer presets that can be shared, and you can customize it. It's parametric equalizer, almost parametric because you can't select filter type, but you can select frequency band, gain, and Q for this band, so you can adjust it here and tweak the sound to your likings. Sound-wise, Tanchjim decided to go into a bit unusual way and make this model focused on the mids and high frequencies, also on the technical aspects like resolution and stage building, and make them a bit lighter than average in terms of bass. I already saw some feedback over the internet from people that were not satisfied by such decision, calling them bass light, lacking weight, and so on. But in my opinion, there are a few reasons why Tanchjim decided to do so. And the first one is because they came with USB Type-C connectors that has built-in DAC and DSP. And thanks to their neutrality and technicality, they are really responsive to equalization. And with that equalizer, you can tweak their sound to your liking much easily than some earphones with noticeable coloration. Also, this type of tuning fitting many genres really well, providing a nice and rich experience. And also they fitting many tastes, because some people really like such representation. And the third reason, especially important for me, we have too many traditional V-shaped and Harman-like tuned earphones, and even Tanchjim have such models in their lineup. So why create yet another thing that is similar to others? Honestly, in my subjective opinion, we have too many earphones released each month that are hard to distinguish from each other in terms of tuning. And here we're getting something new and unusual, so let's discuss this. So keep in mind that with equalizer you can tweak them in a really wide range, but I will describe stock tuning. So bass goes to a really good depth. It's pretty technical, saturated with small nuances and details, but at the same time it's not accented as we used to. So it's not a model for bass heads, and probably not even for those who want like average boost in the low frequencies. But if you like detalization, if you like texturing and good representation of the instruments, they will definitely give you a nice, pleasant sensation in this aspect. Bass is fast, it's not super heavy and super punchy, but at the same time it builds a decent foundation. And as for examples, first one is Smoke on the Water by Deep Purple. Really good amount of low frequencies in my opinion to represent this part when bass line starts. Maybe I could use a more body and fat in low frequencies here, but at the same time I can do it with equalization if I want. And here, Private Investigations by Dire Straits. It has also interesting bass line, and especially in the second half of this track. And I really like that it's not a bass forward model that actually allows to focus not only that monotone bass notes but also on the guitar part. Mids are technical, resolving with noticeable amount of micro contrast, but at the same time they're not sounding too dry or too analytical. But at the same time, of course, they are critical for the quality of records. You'll need a good material to show their full potential. And with it, you'll get really crisp female vocals, you'll get nice saturated guitars, you'll get all that instruments, but at the same time you'll get a pretty nice musical representation. If there will be some issues in the track, you will hear it. So it's a curse of the naturally tuned models. Imaginary stage is pretty spacious, airy, with good separation of instruments. Depth is slightly smaller than width, but it's also nice with a good layering. I like female vocals. They have a noticeable bump in the upper mids area to make everything more saturated in this range, but for me not too much. But some people are sensitive for this area, so keep this in mind. And the male vocal and many instruments depending on the quality of records when we need the proper weight distribution. At the same time, they show a really good dynamics and represent emotions really well. So, first example, it's Dream Theater, The Dance of Eternity, one of the most complex tracks in the history of progressive metal, with tons of changes in it, with every member of band playing its part absolutely perfectly, and that all. If you want to dive deeper into this track, you will need some resolving and technical earphones. And actually, to my taste, balanced armatures make this track sound too separated into different instruments, while dynamic drivers here plays it really well with good amount of nuances, but at the same time not overly analytical. And George Michael, Feeling Good, actually example when male vocal sounds good thanks to a properly proper work of record and mixing engineers. I'm not missing any weight here, and the accompanying instruments are nice, and good emotion representation of these earphones make this track sound really well. High frequencies are nice, really nice. They are done in the way I like it. Good extension, noticeably above average, maybe not maximum, but really nice. Layering is present here, slightly better than a basic typical for this price segment, but at the same time they provide a really good amount of energy and not sounding too sharp or overly bright, at least in my scale of brightness. Attacks and decays are really done in the proper way, not too fast, not too slow, and that gives a good saturation with overtones and nice amounts of air. And examples. First one is Painkiller by Judas Priest. I was afraid that tracks like this will sound a bit too bright here, but no, thanks to good technicality, guitars are well separated and the treble with all percussion sounds nice. Of course, it's far from being great in terms of record quality, but still all that cymbals rendered nicely. And King Crimson Islands, example where they show their full potential, delivering all that small sophisticated nuances of different instruments in a really nice and effortless way. In terms of pairings, of course, you can use this stock USB Type-C adapter and it will give you a really nice performance. But at the same time, this model has potential of going higher than adapter provided with them. And if you'll decide to get this model, and if you decide to get some source for it, probably it's better to get something either neutral or slightly warmish. Luckily, we have a lot of options nowadays with that sound, like RU series from Kane, different players with tubes incorporated, Muse Hi-Fi M5 Ultra, all that solutions with multi-bit decks and with tubes that add harmonics and saturate sound with a bit of warmth are really great with them. Or get a stock USB Type-C adapter and just tweak equalizer, it's also a viable option. Speaking about the compressions, their, elder brother Tanchjim Origin is more typical in terms of tuning with more weight on the mids and low frequencies, and I suspect that both models will still be produced and offered by Tanchjim. They complement each other really great, and in my opinion it's a good idea to have both for different types of music, or to switch back and forth to refresh, to clean your palette, to refresh your experience, because it's not like, that is better or that is better. It's a matter of taste and really different representation. And also Fission as almost Origin but for less is also a viable option, but this model is slightly more technical. And one of my favorite models ever, FIOS FD5, it's an option if you want more traditional V-shaped signature. So, to summarize everything, it's not a model for everyone, definitely. It's more light in terms of bass in the stock tuning. You can easily fix it with some warmer source or equalization. But my subjective opinion here, if you don't want such tuning, you just can get another model. For example, get Tanchjim own Origin. While Force is a great model on its own for if you want such signature, which sounds really nice with many tunes, genres, and preferences. But I don't know, like some unusual and spicy dish, for example, I don't know, like Marmite, it's a matter of taste. It's not for everyone, but some people like it. And Force is also really worth your attention. Maybe not, don't buy them blindly, but if you have an opportunity, just give them a chance. Try to approach it without some prejudice, with clear mind, and they can surprise you. Thank you for listening, thank you for your attention, and have a great day.